Everybody. So my name is Chris Williams. I'm one of the product managers at SuperAwesome. I'm responsible for looking after the development of our advertising technology. And I'm going to be telling you about some of the magic, as Dylan described it, of our awesome content targeting, or ACT. Now, you might have seen us get a few column inches over the last few weeks. And the real basis of what awesome content targeting is all about is, as these guys have mentioned, using our machine learning algorithms and technology to make sure that we're showing the right ad at the right time to the right child in the right place. And now, if we were in the over 13 space, this really is a much easier problem to solve. If you want to target more precisely, you grab more profiling data. Now in the under 13 space, as we all know, you can't do that. It's a much more difficult problem to solve. It comes with its own unique set of challenges. I want to give you a quick look under the hood at the sort of technology that we're putting in place to solve this problem. So first, let me take you back a year or so. Around a year ago, pretty much all of our campaigns run across the SuperAwesome marketplace were run on individual publishers or narrow site lists. And now, there's nothing inherently wrong with that approach. We've got amazing publishers with super engaged audiences. But it does come with one quite significant limitation, which is that any ad that's being served in that campaign is really only being served because it needs to serve for that campaign to reach its limit, reach what's been sold, 1 million impressions or whatever it is for that campaign. It's not necessarily serving because it's serving on the right audience at that time. Now, if you contrast that with where we're at today, the vast majority of our campaigns now run on a basic level on gender and age buckets, demographic segments. This means immediately there's a wider pool of inventory for any ad impression to serve on at any given moment. So we have essentially flexible campaign delivery, and the key benefit here is that any ad can basically choose where it wants to serve at any given moment. And the way that it chooses is via our auto-optimization machine learning. And this algorithm is constantly learning, constantly improving, constantly readjusting, constantly bettering itself to give the outcomes, to make the outcomes best as possible for your campaign. And these are some of the many factors that our optimization algorithm is looking at. The KPI, a campaign might come with a view completion rate or a click-through rate threshold that has to be met. The creative itself, if you, as a client provider with multiple creatives, our algorithm will take the heavy lifting out. It'll lean towards the most engaging creative already to do A/B testing for you. The time of day that you're targeting that ad, the connection type of the user themselves, 3G, 4G, Wi-Fi, etc. But the one that I want to hone in on, because it's the coolest and it's powered by our best technology, which I'm very proud of, is interests. Now, if we want to target the things that kids are actually interested in without using any profiling data, and that's a very hard problem to solve. And our starting point for that is looking at the data that we do have. And it's actually very clear that we have an enormously rich environment of completely unique data, both in terms of quality and quantity. We have the SuperAwesome marketplace, the largest under 13 marketplace in the world, hundreds of publishers, thousands of apps and sites, reaching literally hundreds of millions of kids every month. We have Awesome Ads, where we've served years of historical campaigns, and we have billions of historical campaign data points to look back on. And we have PopJam, our safe social app. And PopJam really acts for us like a panel of kids' interests and sentiments, and it's evolving in real time. And the way that we put all these together is we are trying to build a kid's social graph. A social graph that's no different conceptually to Facebook's social graph or YouTube's intent graph, except this time it's using zero personally identifiable information so we can keep your brand safe. And the way that we use this information for our targeting is like this. Slightly complicated looking slide. If you start with a publisher on the far left hand side, I'm using Disney Crossy Road here, which brightens up my commute most mornings. What we've built is some very sophisticated technology that allows you to take any app or any site and scan and analyze the content on that site to work out what that site is really all about. And the output of that you get is a list of interests. Kids who are on this site that are interested in the following things. So here's a simple example for you. Kids who are on Disney Crossy Road interested in gaming, Lion King, some of the component Disney characters, etc. And with this technology, what we can essentially do is index the kids' digital universe. We can crawl this across millions of apps and sites. We then use our two other data sources that I mentioned here. So In Awesome Ads, we know from our billions, literally billions of historical campaign data points that brand X performed strongly on content Y and perhaps slightly poorer on content Z. We can also layer in data from PopJam. So we use from PopJam correlations of what kids are following. In the simplest way, kids who are following Nintendo are also following gaming. Therefore, we know that those two interests are related. And we use PopJam data to train our interest graph to show us which interests are related and how closely related they are to each other. So this content analysis and interest analysis is then contextually analysed with everything else we've already discussed here, the demographic segments, the factors that we're auto-optimizing for. And that as a whole is our awesome content targeting engine. And I appreciate that sounds very complicated, and I can assure you it is. But actually, the component that we use to target boils down to something very, very simple, which is this is our Awesome Ads dashboard where we target our campaigns. And here I can choose a age and gender categories, as you've seen, and I have this interests component, which is powered by all of this technology behind the scenes that I've just shown you. You break it open and you're given a list of the most popular interests across the SuperAwesome marketplace at this given second. I choose one or select my own, in this example, ponies, and our system immediately knows that kids who are interested in ponies are interested in these other things as well. Now, if we flip this to the other side, once we actually have your ads, your creatives, the same technology can scan your ad, can scan its click-through URL and landing page destination, and we can work out what our system thinks that your campaign is really about. And when we know that your campaign is about X, because of our interest graph, we can tell you that actually campaigns that are about X work very well on content Y, and we can make these suggestions to you. And the goal here is to provide you with the smallest possible niche that still allows you to reach your campaign goal of X impressions or whatever that might be. Now, there's no doubt that this is driving performance across the board. So the black bars here are campaign performance when we've been using ACT, and the red bars are campaign performance when we're targeting manually via site lists or publishers. And the black bars are bigger. And they're bigger for the very simple reason that our algorithm can reliably predict the right place, the right content to serve your ad on. And the exciting thing about this is that we're actually at the very, very early stages of this. We've already got some incredible results. The longer we run this, the greater the scale we run it over, the smarter it will get and the better it'll get at improving the outcomes that you see here. I should say there's nothing wrong with targeting a campaign on an individual publisher. If you want to, you can still do that, that's absolutely fine. And there are many valid use cases to do so. But I hope that what this shows you, or a brief glimpse of our technology, is the ROI step change that can be achieved by using this technology.